Hey, John. I got two admins here already. Nice. Hey, Art. All right. Stop that. I don't even know if you can hear that jam track. It's pretty quiet. All right. Let's see. You guys are blurry. Let me see if these are better. I got too many options. A little bit better. Oh, I have to do something. Today is the 22nd, so that means Monday is the 25th. Let's see. Create text. All right, let's see. Now, can I adjust the size of this? Where's the little bird? Oh, here it is. Maybe I won't be able to fit this all on. There we go. It defaults to this giant font. I think I could adjust the font size though. Okay. All right. There's my message. Sam, I told you I shared a bed with John Stamos, right? Kind of true. He and his family rented the same house we rented in Michigan. So chances are I slept in pretty much every bed in that house. So he slept in one of those beds. And I'm not even sure what I'm going to be teaching next week. I thought we'd start working on the triad shapes. And we can do it in correlation with bluegrass because I think it's a kind of a cool trick to have. Let's see. I'm going to go like this. Put my neck in there. People always ask me why that's there. And that is only there to cut back on sympathetic harmonics when I do like short stabby chords. When you got like a couple mics on you, everything's really, it's picking up everything. So if you hit a short chord, it rings out, and sometimes you don't want that. guitar I have that has like a strings behind the bridge, like a trapeze tailpiece, something like that, I often will mute the strings behind it. So if I'm playing stabby jazz chords, something like that, they don't keep ringing out. All right, so let me do hellos here. Ark, good to see you. Jim Horace, John Jeffries, Holly, Bruce, thank you for being here. Thank you for moderating. Gary, in the house early. Paul Meyer, good to see you, friend. Aslan, good to see you. John Kinden, you were there. You were from the get-go. You were the first in. Hook is in the house. Pepper's here. Pepper saying hi to everybody. Stamos has his coffee. Ark has his coffee. Let's see. Roger, good to see you, Roger. You've been busy. Let's see. AJ, did I already say AJ? No. Hook and AJ always get mixed up for some reason. Truth, good to see you again. 2 days in a row, or two live streams in a row. So yeah, we're gonna continue on the scale. We'll play through the scale again. We'll do both the blues and the blues Dorian, and then we'll go through the song again or something. And we may come up with some snippets. Maybe talk a little bit about the scale tones as they relate to the chords, things like that. But you know, again, I run the risk of overthinking things, and anytime I'm overthinking is when I don't play as well. You would think, oh, if you're really thinking really, you know, and you're analyzing everything, you should be playing. No, because really most of the good playing comes from in here. So it's kind of a combination of making sure this can do whatever this tells it to do, but then it has to filter through the heart. So, you know, that's when you get into that zone where you know what you're doing, but you don't think about what you're doing. That's kind of the golden place. And so it's hard with this lesson series, like I've been saying pretty much every week, is whenever I'm restricting myself to one scale or one set of scales, it definitely takes it away from here and moves it up here. And if I could just play from here and use whatever I wanted to use, then I would like my solos better. I would like what I play better. So. Art doesn't want to miss anything. Okay. So this is the Dorian scale, and it's a Dorian. G Dorian is a minor scale. It's one of the three minor scales in the modes: the Dorian scale, the Phrygian scale, and then the minor scale, which is also called the Aeolian scale. So this is the minor scale. The Phrygian scale probably wouldn't work very well. The minor scale, again, the G minor has an E flat in it. So that's the beauty of the Dorian scales. We have an E natural, which really plays well into the C chord because we have two E's here. So it really gives us a nice melodic tone to use over the C chord. So can I play through the Dorian scale? Yep, totally. So I'll play it right now. I'm just going to play through both of them, and then up and down, and then I'm going to go slow with all of you. Okay, so here's the G Dorian from G to G, from low G to high G. With the blues. Oops. It just sounds like a blues scale. So it kind of sounds like a blues scale, but then you've got two extra notes compared to the blues scale. You have an A and you have an E. So blues scale would be. And then the blues Dorian scale has two 2 extra notes. Rarely do I play it all the way through like that. Okay, that's also more academic than musical, because you wouldn't, on a solo, wouldn't go, you would go, it would just sound like you're practicing scales. But yeah, that D flat in there, you can see it. I didn't write out the G Dorian blues up there, but it would have a D flat in between the C and the D. That's the blues tone, okay? The blues tone is a tritone away from the root in a minor blues. Physically, what's happening, adding an additional third, or you're asking what? Yeah, I just told you, the flat 5 or sharp 4, but it's really, I prefer to think of it as a flat 5. You want to think, when you're thinking blues, you want to think you're flatting things. You're going below something and you want to go up to it. So when you think of it as a D flat, although I prefer to go to the C from the D flat, in the blues context, you can go to the D as well. But I don't think they put any sweet and low in my coffee. Okay, so let's do this really slowly. Get your guitars out. 3rd fret, third finger on the 3rd fret of the bottom string. Excuse me. And then open A, B flat 1st fret, C, open D, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, open G, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 1st fret, 3rd fret, open E, 1st fret, 3rd fret. Okay, backwards is 3 1 0, 3 1, 3 2 0, 3 2 0 again, 3 1 0, and then you can say 3 1 0, and then 1 3 if you want. Kind of get all the way down to the lowest possible note in the key would be the open E string, but generally, like I've said before, we don't do a lot of soloing. In fact, none of the song is on the bottom 2 strings. The whole, and it's called Write Down Everything I Say, which is an intentional title for an instrumental song with no lyrics. So nothing is going to be said. So in other words, do nothing. The subtitle should be Do Nothing. Okay, now let's do the G Dorian with the blues note. I guess we could call it G Dorian blues. I don't have a problem with that. If you want to, take a sip. Sorry, I gotta give us a reason to take a sip. Tom Strahle needs to give you a reason to take a sip. There we go. Sorry, I was working late last night. I was in the studio. Hey, 23.9 watching. Well, it's because there's not an inauguration going on. That's why there's so many people watching. I'm inaugurating this coffee. That's what I'm inaugurating. So now you're watching the inauguration of this coffee. Okay, so let's add the blues note. All right, and so it's going to be. So sorry, Holly, we're going to have to use a pinky for one thing. Oh, but that was one of the rules. If I refer to myself in the 3rd person, we have to take a sip of coffee. That's why I used my name. And also, in case you were wondering how to pronounce it, everybody says Strahle. Tom Strahle. I've gotten so many different things on envelopes in the mail, stuff like that. Okay, 3rd finger on the bottom string. All right, 3rd fret. And then open A, 1st fret, 3rd fret, and then here's your pinky, Holly, right there, 4th fret. There's our blues note. In fact, if you just play that and back down, it's kind of cool. Technically, it's what's called a diminished scale. Okay. There. Here, you can take a sip again. There will be no quiz on this. Where are my ears? Oh, they're there. Okay. There will be no quiz on this, so take another sip. But a diminished scale is a scale made up of alternating whole steps and half steps. And you can start with a whole step, you can start with a half step. So this one kind of starts with a whole step. Whole, half, whole, half. Now if I were to continue, it gets away from G Dorian. So it would be, let's see, what would it be next? I'm not used to starting on the whole step. shoot, how am I doing? Trying to remember now. No, brain's off. It's not right. There it is. It's not an important scale. I'm sitting here going, I used to know this scale like inside and out, but I really don't use it, so it's kind of a cool scale though. Oh, that's what. It's because okay, it works. It's more symmetrical on the top 4 strings. That's why my brain was forgetting. It works great over like a 7th chord. Very jazzy sound. Anyway, so let's go to back to the square one on the G dorian plus the blues note. That's called the diminished scale. Whole half, whole half, whole half, whole half, whole, or half, whole half, whole half, whole half, forever and ever and ever. You'll have 8 notes per octave instead of 7, so you'll have an extra note in there. But okay, so here we go. G, and then open A, 1st fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, and then open D, 2, 3, open, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. There's our little piece there, and then E, F, G, and then backwards is 3, 1, 0, and then 3, 2, 1, and then 3, 3, 2, 0, 3, 2, 0 again, and then 4, 3, 1, 0. We have 4 notes on that string, and then 3, and then if you want, you go down to 1, 0, 1, 3 like that. Now, in this song, write down everything I say. I did not use any blues notes in here. Okay, and you can download some on the Discord. Let me post the Discord link. Give me 1 second. And then yeah. And is there a way we could? Not really. I would if I were going to write a song that had the blues note in it. I would totally come up with a new melody because the blues kind of opens up things in a good way. So I'd want to have a different melody. Okay. Copy. All right, so this is the Discord. You can go, and there you can download all of my songs, all PDFs, I've got, how many lessons have we been doing here? I've got all these diagrams here, all those diagrams, those JPEGs, those are all up there. So you can go download as many of those as you want and create. In fact, we did this the other day. Was it last week or the week before? Yeah, see this little thing here, where I took the first 6 weeks of G scales. Some of them have C and D scales, but this is the first 6 weeks of G scales, and shows you how many options you have when it comes to playing over even just the simple G chord. But these scales would also for the most part, work on the C chord and the D chord. So in other words, these scales, you could just camp out on these scales and play over this whole progression. So that first scale, G major scale. See, it's in the way of my hands. Okay. Here, I'll put it on my face. There we go. That's better. So the first scale is G major. And then the second scale, G major pentatonic. Next scale, blues, the major blues scale. So you got that one. Then you got the mixolydian we had. That G minor pentatonic. G blues. And then the new one. So this is your favorite lesson so far. You don't have to look at my stupid face. I don't have to worry about what kind of faces I'm making while I'm playing. It's hard to make a Halloween mask out of that, right? Punch a couple eye holes in there and you're golden. Okay, so that was last week. And then this week we've added a seventh scale to the G scales. But that's just a way to show you that you've got lots of different tools and they all sound different. The G major. Sounds very different than the blues. But none of them sound any less bluegrass than the other one. And of course, one of the things about learning anything of great expanse, anything that's if they have a library dedicated to something, then you're never going to learn it all. Okay, let's put it that way. There are actual music libraries. So I used to go to one in Glendale all the time, and take out all sorts of music and CDs and all sorts of stuff. But the thing is, you've learned so much in the last 7 weeks. But one of the things we didn't do is we didn't go up the neck. So all of these scales could be played up and down the neck. Now, I'm choosing open positions mainly because it sounds more bluegrassy. It's more ringy. It just sounds more country, that kind of thing. And it's more common when you watch bluegrass players. They're definitely playing in there. But we're going to start working our way up the neck. This could be the only series I ever teach ever again. I could just keep going forever on this. But one of the things that I think what we're going to do is we're going to look at triads, major triads, and we're going to learn 3 triads, the 3 triads, G, C, D, in 3 different positions. So I'm trying to think if I want to do that next week. And that might mean taking a respite from a song, but not necessarily, because I could just, it could even be a rhythm thing where we're just... And then that's just the G, C, and D here in this position. And then if we do G, C here, and then we could do G, C, and D here, or G like that, But when we start to visualize the triads and learn those shapes, there's only 3 per 3 string set. Then you'll start to see some of the scales slowly unfold, like we're doing G dorian here. And for me, it's always easier to play scales without open strings because I'm picking every note. I'm picking every note I'm fretting, if that makes sense. So I don't have to. There's a certain like disconnect between the left hand and the right hand when you're playing open scales, and so you're not alone in that. If you're feeling like, wait a minute, I feel hesitation when I'm playing open strings, and I'm like, yeah, you really do have to woodshed these scales because what's happening is you're doing nothing over here while you're doing something over here, which never happens when you play scales like this. But the great thing about these scales, all notes fretted scales, no open string scales, is they're completely movable. So every time you learn a scale like this, like G dorian, you've learned 12 scales because we can play G dorian. I'm swinging it now. Whoops, I messed up. But anyway, and then A flat dorian, and then A minor or A dorian, and then B flat dorian. So that's the great thing about when you have no open strings in a scale is that it's completely movable. And when you learn one scale, you've learned 12. So that's kind of like, that opens up a little bit and realize, okay, I don't have to learn so much. But learning guitar is like one of those things where it's like, oh, look, I'm coming up on a corner. I'm going to turn the corner. You turn the corner and then you see a whole new horizon. You're like, oh, gosh darn it. You've got all this other stuff to learn. So that's kind of where we're at. We're like, hey, I can see the corner. We're getting ready to turn a corner here because we're getting ready. Tom's running out of scales in open position. And then all of a sudden you go, oh no, we have to learn them up and down the neck and all the positions, all those scales. Yeah, could be. But like I said, I don't see a lot of bluegrass players playing too much. I mean, I totally would, and I see a lot of them do it. But that's kind of why I want to start with the triads, because it's something different. And the triad things kind of opens up some fun stuff that we can do. Yeah, you need tasks. Yes. I'm trying to think. Shoot, what's this kid's name? It's funny because Alex and I went to Guitar Center. When was that? He was here Wednesday, so we went to Guitar Center on Wednesday. I had to pick up a MIDI cable. I have a million MIDI cables, but they're all in Pasadena. I didn't need them anymore. I had a bunch of MIDI cables in my old rack, and I left all that stuff for Alex. I said, you can have all this stuff. I'm not going to need it. And then Chris, I needed a MIDI cable. So I bought a MIDI cable, and I had to do a data dump. It just sounds worse than it is. Aslan's always taking off. Aslan's always leaving and coming back. So we've been talking about you the whole time, too. I was wondering why you hadn't answered. I'm just kidding. So paranoid. And the paranoid in you is like, really? Enough about me. What do you think about me? So all the scales like that G Mixolydian scale right there can be played up here, too. There's reasons for that. One of the main reasons to play the scales further up is to get the higher notes. And to do, to play up higher, but also a lot of, we could spend a whole week on the G string, and I know that just sounds wrong, but one of the things we could do is actually literally play every one of the scales we've learned, all those scales from like here, the G major scale on the G string, the G major pentatonic on the G string. We play the G major blues on it. There it is. The G Mixolydian. The G minor pentatonic. even just using one finger. And then the G blues, which would be and there's several reasons to do that. Okay, but one is to not only visualize. I don't know what the opposite of laterally is, and I don't even know if this is lateral, but to visualize the scales laterally, but also longitudinally. I don't know. Is that a word? Help me here. If Roger should know this. Roger's smart. So I just insulted all of you alls except Roger. Roger should know the answer to this because he's smart. But anyway, learning scales this way and learning scales this way. You know, everybody learns the scales up the fretboard this way, but it's actually really handy to, and I'll show you why. In fact, I'll even jam on it and show you why. It's great to learn. Right? You got licks like that start to open up. Okay, so now I went back and forth between the G and the D string at some point. But it's cool. It's like opens up a whole nother sound and style, and it almost kind of banjo-y because it's got a drone. You got this drone note. You could also think of it as kind of bagpipey, right? So if you want to, you can go back, and if you want, you could write out all the notes. See, this is one of the things that I could create a chart here real quick, where I write out all the letters of the thing, and letters in the G scales. You know, the G major, the G major pentatonic, G major blues. What is it? The G mixolydian, the G blues, the G minor pentatonic, and then the G dorian. I could write all those out, so you could sit there and go, oh, okay, start learning the notes on the G string. And again, that sounds not kind of nasty and naughty. In fact, if I write a song with it, it's going to be called "This Song Is Naughty." So maybe that's going to come up soon. Holly, you have to help me remember that. Man, they didn't put Sweet and Low in this. I hate it when they don't make it to org, because you can't make it yourself anymore, right? You're not allowed to touch anything in the Starbucks. You're not allowed to breathe. You're not allowed to touch anything. You're not allowed to look at it. Don't look. No, don't close your eyes. Don't look. Longitudinally is correct. Oh, very good. Thank you, Hook. You ghost through here. Yeah, you're totally ghosting us. Question from John regarding the fifth in the major blues scale. Yeah, okay. Let me take that. Sorry. Oh, Holly and Bruce looking after everyone. Sorry. I got going on a rant. John, looks like is the flat in the major blues scale like it is in the minor? No, it's not a flat fifth, John. We are not adding a flat fifth. What we're doing is we're adding the flat third in the major blues. And I just kind of made that name up. I don't know that there's, but you need that scale to play the G lick, the famous Bluegrass G lick. Okay, so basically what it is G major pentatonic, which is G, A, B, D, E, and of course G again. Pentatonic 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then G is not the 6th note. You got it. This song is not naughty. Yeah, that's what it should be. Yeah, this song is not naughty. Okay, but to give it more of a blues give it a, kind of a pseudo blues thing. See, I could flat the fifth, but that's not going to work. That just sounds like a whole tone scale or something. It sounds Lydian, right? Right. That would be basically a Lydian scale. Lydian's the. It's like the. Well, how would I do this? Very movie soundtracky, right? The Lydian's. The sharp. It's basically a sharp 4, same thing as a flat 5. No, what we're adding is the flat 3. So we're going from the second to the flat 3 to the 3. Yeah, exactly, John Y. The flat, yeah. So it's the same as the E minor. Yeah. So it would be that note would be the flat 5 in E minor, in the E minor blues, but it's the flat 2. So if that or the flat 3, if that's what you were asking me, then you were right. But if you were saying I should be a flat 5 in the key of G, no, that would be wrong. But if it's but it's amazing how different that sounds from this. In fact, if I even do the right over the E minor or over the E7 chord, you could do the G lick over it, but it has a completely different sound. It has a very, very dark kind of blues. Right? As opposed to it's totally different. Exact same lick, but when you change what you're playing over, it creates a completely different mood. So anyway, people aren't chatty, very chatty. I must be compelling. Am I compelling? Dennis. It's just a little dirty. No, it's not. Well, it depends on how old the strings are. These strings are getting really old. In fact, I keep forgetting to call Elixir in order of strings. I said that on Wednesday. Alex was here. I'm like, oh, don't help me remember. And he totally didn't help me remember. Let's see. Also, if you're looking for a live stream teacher, my nephew Tony, I can post his. I'll ask him if it's okay to post his email address on the Discord if anybody's interested. And he's in Boston, so Dennis is sad. So let's see. So the G Dorian, again, we don't have an F sharp in it, obviously, because that's part of the Dorian scale. So the D chord, we're kind of stuck playing an F natural over, but the F natural sounds pretty good because it's and here's a place where John Y, you can add like there's a little snippet there. If you look on the scale up here, okay, you look at the top, basically 3 strings. You got that D note, so we're playing over a D chord. Okay, you got this note here. The second fret on the 3rd string is A, and then you can play the C, D, put the F, and then go up to the G. And if you want, you can go up to the G sharp. It's not written there, but that works really nice over the D chord. So if we're playing over the jam, so if we have G, so you can kind of throw that little note in there if you want to make the D, to have something extra to do over the D chord. The C is in there, which is really nice because that implies the D7. So, but let's just look at the middle 2 strings. So to the D string and the G string. We have D, E, F, G, A, and B flat. Yeah, well, that's exactly right. I feel like if I'm doing my job, everybody's got their guitar in their hands and they're playing, and they're not typing. That's why I'm very crestfallen whenever I see a lot of texting, because I go, oh, I'm not doing my job. Oh, I'm sorry. A song van is dirty. Yeah, any van is dirty. I see a van and I think dirty. Yeah, like the thing you do on the keyboard, yeah. Okay, so let's play that little snippet. Open, second, third, open, second, third, and then back down. 3, 2, 0, 3, 2, 0. And maybe go end on the G. Okay, so over a G chord, you could go. Or go 3, 2, 0, 3, G. And we get the C chord, and you can see that right there, that E note there is part of the C chord. And you notice that I had that in the song. We had right. The other thing you could do is like start on that note, and I did this in the song too. You go, and I love that lick because just simple as that. You're going from the third to the seventh. Do you remember what the third and the seventh are called? Yes, guide tones. Those are the guide tones of a C7 chord. So the third and the seventh, E and B flat. So and I don't do a lot of that. I don't do a lot of redundant notes, but that's a very good tool in playing. Whatever you can hit. So anyway, so there's if you play that tritone right there, the E to the B flat, those are your guide tones of the C. So you've got those. You can even turn that into a little pentatonic shaped lick, right? So we get to the G. Okay, so the G got. It works good over the C too. For the D chord, I kind of like in this set of notes here. I like the D, open D, third fret, open G, and then the A, and then back down to open G, and then third fret and open. So we got this D, F, G, A, G, F, D. Right? Or we could do. I like that too. That's a really fun one. That's a kind of a bebop-y lick. But it works really good. And so what I did there was I went open D, E, F, and then to the A. So I'm playing over the D chord. I don't want to get too confusing here, but I'm going 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1. Yes, Sam, that's right. Yeah, guide tones. Guide tones are in any seventh chord are the third and the seventh. That's all you need really as a guitar player to imply a chord progression. So like if we talk about the G7, the G blues, the C to G, and then just go to the 5 chord, right? Well, if I were to play the guide tones of G7, I could play F and B right here. And then if I go to C, the C7 chord, I need the third 7. So there's 4 notes in a chord. In G7, there's G, B, D, F. Okay? 1, 3, 5, 7. G, B, D, and F. And B and F are the guide tones. And if you just play that, if you got a bass player, he can play the G. That's his job. Or her job. Okay. So, there we go. And then, so the beauty of it though is the C7 is right here, and then go back to the G7, the D7's here. So you can apply the whole blues progression just by going like that to C, to G, to D, to G. It sounds funny, but those are the guide tones. And so what the guide tones will do, those are, two notes are going to work, and they're beautiful. And over the C7, there's no C7 chord in this progression right here, okay? But you can play. I could play this. I mean, it's a little bit more, like this is a country road, and this is a dirt country road. Yeah. Right? You get that 7th chords in there, and it's okay. That's a dirt road. So, hey Tex, what's going on? Yeah. And it sounds kind of creepy, doesn't it? The tritone thing, but you could have a whole, playing 2 notes can imply this chord, and then I go to the minor 7, and then I go to the. And so guide tones are a way to play really small chord shapes, but they're also a way to find notes that will highlight and create certain flavors. So, Orville Gibson. All right. So, so that C scale lick I like is something like that, right? E, F, G, A, B, flat. Okay, and then and so the D scale I was talking about was you could do something like that over the D chord maybe, and we're talking about the middle 2 strings of the top scale over here. Boom, this scale. So D, open D, 3rd fret, open G, 2nd fret, open 3rd, and then maybe bracket it with a D chord. So hit a D chord, and then hit, and that note is wrong. You could, if you wanted to fix that, and play F sharp, you could, because there's no F natural in the D chord. It's an F sharp. But that's kind of the point. It's bluegrass, so it should be bluesy a little bit. So that lick actually works fine over that D. Now, I don't know if this one works as well, but I like the sound of it, which is the D, E, F, and A. It's like, there's a place in France where the women wear no pants or whatever that was. Something like that. And that one, that's a little more of a giant steps changes. That's kind of like the 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5 over every single chord, giant steps. That's an exercise right there. It sounds like an exercise, but yeah, but it kind of has a cool sound. Over G, G major, doing the same lick in G major would be 1, 2, 3, 5. It's just a pentatonic scale. And over C, it's the same thing. And that's in this key. I could go to major and do 1, 2, 3, 5. So anyway, I'm just trying to find little licks in that snippet. Let's see. Now over the G, you could also go open D to E to G, or you could go like I do in the song. I go to the F instead. Imply that the G7 chord. Okay, let me play the song again. In the song, you can go to the Discord, which I pinned. You can go to the Discord and download this. Yeah, the Orville Gibson, not a different, different, not related to that Gibson, right? Um, so this is the song. You can download the PDF for this. I think, right? It's up there. And then all of the ones we've done so far. What am I doing here? I'm gonna play this. This is just, and I limit just the scale. There's that lick. I change it to the C. See if I can do it up a notch. So I'm going to take speed. I'm going to go 1.25. Also gets quieter. You get the idea. All right, let me see if I can notch it up one more. It actually sounds much better the faster you go. That's true of Bluegrass. The melody's a little on the boring side. I don't know what that was. Okay. So I'm going to go to the settings. I'm going to take this playback speed and go 1.5. Woo! You can hear that bass, no doubt. My music keeps sliding off my knee here. So here we go, too. That one's actually pretty fun to play. I'm kind of digging it. Yeah. So that's at 150. Let me try 175. All right, let's see here. Where is the go? So that's 150. So I'm just going to 1.5. Now I'm going to 1.75 because the original track is at 100 beats. So that just means it's going to be 175. Math. Okay. I gotta wait for it to come. Oh, there we go. Shoot. It's falling out. I need a music stand right here. I should have this memorized anyway. I don't know why my brain is so lame. All right, let's see again. Here we go. I did it. Pretty fun. You're all talking to each other, not even listening to me. You got me muted, don't you? How many, raise your hand, how many of you have me muted and you're really just here for the live chat? Everybody's trying to guess where Orville lives. That's funny. Oh, Orville, they're referring to Orville Redenbacher. It was from Indiana, actually. Was it Valparaiso, Indiana? I think the popcorn's still made there. It makes sense because there's lots of corn in Indiana. Hey, Catherine. You got to get back to work, back to those kids. And my wife is doing, remote watching kids, making sure they stay on there. It's so funny. It's like, so, because the pods she was doing pods for a few weeks, many weeks, and then the city said, no, you can't have school. They have to go home. So they're home for 2 weeks, but then hopefully February 1st, they'll all be back at it. So there's music. What? Wait, what? Yeah. Paul's like, wait, what? He's actually saying something? Oh, that's cool in Kalamazoo. I've been to Kalamazoo. My recollection of Kalamazoo is that it smelled like paper mills. It smelled like sulfur. Let's see. Yeah, you can multi-track. Yeah, I know. You can multitask. Yeah. Oh, you used to work in Valparaiso. Yeah, and where was that? Or was it Valparaiso, or what was the town Orville Redenbacher? Brazil, Indiana is where he's born. Oh, he died in California, though. Took his money and went to California. I always joke, because I'm from Indiana, and I always joke, when you drive around Indiana, in fact, this is a perfect example. Oh, it says Terre Haute? Is that right? Is that where? Oh, no. Let's see. Bruno. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it was, yeah, maybe, yeah, Orville Red. Where is that? Let's see, does this have a link for the popcorn company? Anyway. But it's funny, in Indiana, there's so many towns named for places that aren't in India. There's a Mexico, Indiana. There's a Brazil, Indiana. There's a Lebanon, Indiana. So there's all these towns named for, everybody wants to be somewhere. Where do you live? Oh, I live in Brazil. You live in Brazil? Oh, no, you didn't let me finish. Brazil, Indiana, which is, I've been to Brazil, Indiana. I've been to Mexico, Indiana. I actually drove to Mexico, Indiana to take pictures of everything that said Mexico on it in Indiana and send to my friend Jorge, because I thought he'd get a kick out of it. So, yes, I'm squirreled. Orville Redenbacher squirreled me. Too fast, Vasily, too fast. Oh, Hunt for Red October, yeah. Slow down. Holland, that's right. There's a Holland, Michigan. Holland, Michigan, which every year on the way up to Pentwater, Michigan, we would drive through Holland. And they have giant, like, I'm sure if you just Google Holland, Michigan, it'll have like a picture of a big giant wooden shoe. And the funny thing is, you would think, and they do have a windmill. Let's see. Trying to think. Somewhere they have one of those giant wooden shoes. It's like huge, and but the reason it's called Holland is because there's so many Dutch people that live there, so they call it Holland. So you would think these Dutch people would know what Holland really looks like and was like, and they know that not on every street corner has a giant wooden shoe on it. But yeah, let's see, where else in Indiana is it? Oh gosh, like I said, Indiana has a lot of towns named for foreign places, places they wish they'd rather be. John, oh, yes, we're hoping to get some of your rain, Holly. It was supposed to rain this morning, but they pushed it to this afternoon, so we'll see what happens. I'm not sure. I turned off my sprinklers in anticipation. I love saving the water. Cracks me up when I see people have their sprinklers on and it's pouring down rain. I'm like, well, that's kind of redundant. Morocco, India. Is there a Morocco, Indiana? Really? That I did not know. I'd love to go to Morocco. We did have some, and there's a Lebanon, Indiana. Yep. Um, so, Tom, everyone wants to jam with me? What do you mean? Let me just play the track. Put it back at 100, though. Yeah, they are atrocious, Dennis. It is pretty funny. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love being from Indiana, and I do toy with the idea of retiring there, which is a kind of a weird place to retire, but it is familiar. So I feel like if we decide to leave California, which is unlikely, but if we decide to leave California, and I have a tip for you, I'm going to share a tip with you. But if we decide to leave California, I don't know. It depends on how old we are, and I don't want to be starting over, making new friends at 70 or something, and finding things, But I already know certain parts of Indiana, so I could live there and know my way around, no problem. So, these are seals from. Oh shoot, what's the name of that beer now? I can't think of the name of the beer. Grolsch beer. Where's Grolsch beer from? Is that Dutch? I spelled it wrong. There it is. I spelled it wrong. Grolsch beer, yeah. Oh, it's Dutch. Okay, so you may already know this trick, Dennis, but you can use these as strap locks. I have it put away right now, but basically, you take. Oh, in fact, here it is. I got it right here on my $99 Squire. Look, see what I did there? You put these there, and it's kind of acts as a strap lock, and it just comes on every Grolsch beer. So you just put them on there, and you're golden. Now they're kind of a interesting color, not quite orange, not quite red. I don't know what color that is, but pretty orangey, pretty red looking on this. Here they're kind of a weird, not periwinkle, but I don't know. I can't think of the name of the color. But anyway, that's something you can. You can a little trick. You can, if you're going to buy beer, you might as well buy Grolsch. Now you buy, it's a fork. They come in fours usually. Yeah, Grolsch is not my favorite beer. I'm not a beer drinker anyway, so none of them taste good to me. But some taste worse than others, and some taste better than others. And I tend to, if I'm going to drink a beer, it's probably going to be having sushi, and it's going to be like a light Japanese beer, which actually sounds really good when you're eating sushi. So, in fact, tonight we're having sushi. Friday's sushi night. Part of her family lived 5 minutes from the. Oh wow! So they just go out back and look for discarded bottles, and just they threw these away. These didn't these are factory seconds. So, you're having floods right now in the UK. Wow. A lot of rain. Yeah, we need some rain here in California, and we're going to get some. And so hopefully, in fact, it says thunderstorms tomorrow. That would be great. I love thunderstorms. We don't really have those very often here. It's very rare to have for some reason, to have thunderstorms in California. Very common in Indiana, Michigan. We'd have some amazing thunderstorms in Michigan. In our cottage, we had a cottage. And then we owned a cottage, my parents did, and it was on just a little cottage on a little lake. But we were on the eastern shore, so we had sunsets every night, but the weather would typically come from the west, so you would see these storms come in, and it was really cool to watch the rain hit the lake, and you would see this, like the lake would be crystal clear here, and then it would be blurry behind where the rain is, and that blurry line would just slowly start coming towards you, and it was like, wow, here comes the rain. And man, we had some lightning. I remember one time lightning struck the tree over our cabin. I mean, that's probably as close as I've ever gotten to lightning, and it was loud. Oh my! Felt like now at the time I'd never felt an earthquake before, but it was like an earthquake. Things were rattling off of shelves and everything. So pretty crazy. Fish Friday becomes sushi in California. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's kind of yeah. I never had sushi in Indiana, and growing up, it wasn't a thing. And in the '80s, it became a big thing, and I came out to California in the '80s, and that's when everybody started eating it. I'm pretty pedestrian with my sushi habits, though. Yeah, you can you had 5 inches. I said, holy cow, Oral. Yeah, we could use 5 inches. I don't know what we would do with it. The funny thing is, if we get rain, Californians just don't know how to drive. There's just accidents everywhere. Like if we're getting rain, pull up Google Maps and look up Los Angeles and turn on traffic, and you'll see just brick red everywhere because people just don't know how to drive. And somebody said, and this could explain it, when it hasn't rained for a long time, there cars all drip a little bit of oil, right? And so the roads are just covered with like a thin sheen of oil that really isn't a problem until it gets wet. In Kalkaska, Michigan, a few years ago, a storm rolled through. It looked like a giant tidal wave in the sky. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. Man. oh, Dennis, yeah, you could probably, start selling them on Etsy. You could totally sell these on Etsy as strap locks. Because they're a natural byproduct of a Grolsch, a Grolsch beers. So, but anyway, I had Beth buy a 4-pack because I needed. I was a little worried I was playing my SG at church, and the strap kind of came off once, but I was holding onto the guitar good, so nothing happened. I went, I need to put some strap locks on there. And instead of doing that, this is just so much easier than installing strap locks. So I had her pick up some Grolsch, and between Alex and I, we finished them. Aslan, have a great weekend. Oh, no, Ark is taken off. Yeah, so you can see Monday's live stream will be Tuesday, same time. I have a session on Monday for Tom and Jerry, the cartoon, that's on HBO Max. So I've been playing on that show, and so I have to go into the studio this time. It's not something I can do from home. And I was late in the studio last night working with a pretty well-known producer, which was fun. First time going to his studio, and we wrote three or four songs. We started 3 or 4 songs. Got one of them pretty far into the process, and so wow, Gary, I'm reading Gary's post there. So yeah, we got a lot done in probably, how long was I there? 6 hours. I got there at 6 and left at midnight or so. But yeah, Gary's kayaking on the Winnebago, which is probably it's an Indian tribe, and it probably was the origin of the name, probably where they got the name for the RVs, when Fond du Lac disappeared and the 100-mile black shelf cloud came in suddenly, went from dead calm to 65-mile-per-hour crosswinds with, wow, 4 feet waves on a river. That's a river, right? Or is that is that a lake? Yeah, yeah. The difference between terror and exhilaration is survival. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I had a similar experience on remember I told you my Maxim Cut, no, what was the name of the river? Manistee story. And years before that, before I did the tubing thing down the Manistee, is when I did the canoeing thing. And I'd never really canoed before. And so it was me and my mom in one canoe, my little sister Lee, who you all know, and Bill, my stepdad, in the other canoe, and then my sister Gwen, my older sister Gwen, and her friend in a third canoe. And I mean, my mom and I spent half of the time going sideways down the river and bumping up against the shoreline, and we couldn't keep the thing straight. We didn't know what we were doing. Bill knew how to canoe, so he did fine. Because even though Lee wasn't much help, I'm assuming. Hey Josh, what's going on? Lee wasn't much help for Bill, but it didn't matter. So he knew how to canoe, so he could tell her how to do it. And then Gwen and her friend, my sister Gwen and her friend, they didn't have to know how to canoe because pretty much right after we started, a Boy Scout troop came up and they kind of absorbed my sister and her friend and showed them how to canoe. So they were way ahead of us. And of course, I was competitive with my stepdad and my sister, so I was trying to get my mom to do a better job, for us to do a better job canoeing, and we were falling behind. And at one point, it started to pour, raining and lightning all around us. And I'm like, we're in aluminum canoes on water. And I'm thinking, this is not the place that we need to get out of these things, right? And so I said, let's go ashore. So we went ashore. We kind of got up against some brush or whatever. And we stepped out of the canoes and we were immediately in knee-deep mud. It was like we started sinking. It was like, oh, man, talk about being out of the fryer in the fire. If you look at, it's a big lake. Yeah, that's super shallow. So 4-foot swells on a 13-foot deep lake is pretty crazy. But maybe that's more likely than if it were a 100-foot deep lake. Maybe that would be less likely. What was I going to look up? I was going to look up something. Now, the lake I spent summers on, Lake Misaki in Michigan. There it is. Let me see how deep that lake is. Maximum depth 27 feet. Let's see, 1880 acres. Surface elevation. Yeah, not a very well-known lake at all, but not bad. So you said Lake Winnebago. It is. Oh yeah, I see right there. Yeah, it's right, real close to. Oh, that is a big lake though. You can see that. Wow. Yeah, that's a big lake, but it's shallow. That's crazy. And then, what is that area? Hold on, I'm going to pull up. I'm curious now. Wisconsin. What's the what's the bay called there? That Green Bay is on. What's that called? Oh, it's just called Green Bay. It's Green Bay. Well, duh, right? That makes sense. That's hilarious. You're yelling at me, aren't you? Sure, ask me something about guitar, Josh. That's what this channel's for. I only talk about guitar. As I'm talking about lake depths. Fun du Lac. Farthest point. Yeah, go ahead, Josh. You can ask away. If I can answer it, I will. I will try. Yes, next Tuesday instead of the usual Monday. Monday's live stream will be moved to Tuesday because I've got a 10 o'clock session on Monday for a TV show for Tom and Jerry. I tune it with a tuner. So if you don't have a tuner, I would get one of these, and that would be the best way to tune your guitar. But there's a lot of ways you can tune it. If you have a tuning fork, do I have a tuning fork? I don't even know if I have a tuning fork. Well, I probably do. It just depends on what when I'm tuning. Like my classical guitar teacher taught me how to. Oh, and in fact, I got to do the octave exercise. Let me write that out. I should do a video on that. Maybe I could do that today. If I have some time today, I could do the octave exercise. It's kind of weird, but I think I can make it happen. Sorry, I want to make note of this because some of my exercise videos do pretty well. And I'm not talking about cardiovascular exercise. Oh, here we go. But my guitar teacher taught me to tune using octaves, and I'll show you that method here. Sorry, I've got to get my windows in order here. Okay. So, on classical guitar, it would be like you have the low E, and then you tune the octaves. So I'm tuning, basically I'm assuming that this note is in tune, the E, low E. So then what I do is I tune this note to that, so they should be the same, and they are. And then I go to the G, and I hit the open G, and make sure that G string is in tune with the low G. So you have to be able to hear octaves. See, if it was out of tune, you should be able to hear it. And then what I do is I play the A note here on the second fret of the G string, and I play the open A. And now I'm tuning the A string. And if the A string is in tune, if it's a little flat, I go there, and then I go to hit the B on the A. Now I'm tuning the B string. Now it's weird because now you're going backwards. So you got the D note, and maybe make a little adjustment to the D. And what this tends to do, it tends to make the open chords be a little bit more in tune. The way a lot of people learn how to tune is yeah, I mean, you can get a tuner for, I think you can get a tuner for $10 on Amazon. But so if you have the low E in tune, then you can also hit the 5th fret of the E string and go to and tune the A string to that, and then the 5th fret of the A string and tune the D string to that, because they're both Ds. 5th fret of the D string, and then on the G string you have to go to the 4th fret, and there, and then if you have an iPhone, you can download a free tuner. You get. This tuner wasn't free, but I have a strobe tuner on mine. So you should be able, if you have a phone, you should be able to get a free tuner for it. Where is it? Here we go. See, I have a strobe tuner. See, I'm a little flat. Closer now. And that's basically like the old school strobe tuners back in the day. Guitar Tuna. Yeah, Guitar Tuna, that's right. And that one's free, right, Aslan? Yeah, so you can download an app for your phone, and that'll help you tune your guitar. Now I have to tune to that E. But I don't know. It's weird because that's off of this tuner that I'm using, so I'm going to go with a tuner on my headstock. I don't really use that strobe tuner anymore since I have so many headstock tuners. Oh, Guitar Tune is free, okay. Michael Houghton is asking me, tech question, do Taylor guitars live up to their hype of being playable? And if so, why don't more guitar makers chase that characteristic? I think they are very playable, Taylor guitars. The only 12 string I have is a Taylor 12 string, and I don't think I would play any other 12 string because Bob Taylor made that his kind of one of his primary goals when he started building guitars was to start with the neck. And so I do feel like Taylors are fairly playable. My 814C Taylor is it's getting pretty old, so I'm not sure how the setup is on it. It probably needs a good setup, but it plays pretty easy. I don't play it very often. I mean, this thing I play a lot, but right now it's struggling because it needs a neck adjustment, which it can't be done with a truss rod because it doesn't have a truss rod. My Martin doesn't have a truss rod. So there are many Martins that don't have truss rods. And what they do is they suggest you put medium strings on them instead of light strings. So I've got light strings on there, so I need to put a set of mediums on there. I've been playing guitar for 50 years. I started when I was 9. I'm 59 now. I'll be 60 this year. So Michael, yeah. So why don't more guitar companies? I don't know. That's just an advertising thing, and I think it's been kind of it's been from the get-go of Bob Taylor's company that he wanted to make guitars that were fun to play, that felt good. And it's true that if a guitar is, if you're having to fight the guitar, you've already got to fight all the other things about like learning, playing scales and learning all that stuff. And and most pros, like the famous guitar players that they mostly have their guitar set up to play pretty easy, no matter what company made their guitar. I just played a bunch of Collins guitars a few weeks ago with my friend Josh, and he bought, he bought a Dreadnought. He's getting another one. They're actually going to give him a deal, and he's going to buy it direct from them. It's funny because that same store where I bought my 1924 Martin there, and my Gypsy Jazz guitar, which is not out, at Westwood Music, which is closing, maybe closed already, but I think they said the end of this month. But the guitar tech there was working on Richard Thompson's Loudon, and I'm a big Richard Thompson fan, and I have a Loudon. I like my Loudon. It's great I like the pickup in it because it's a Green Mountain pickup, or shoot, I can't remember the name of the maker, but it's the best sounding pickup I have. I'm not a fan of pickups, but his Loudon was set up. It played hard. I'm like, I don't know how he played. He must have really strong hands because the action was pretty high and he had heavy strings. I was like, dang, this thing is a beast. So yeah, Josh was like, wow, that's a long time. Yeah, I'm old. I didn't think I'd live to be this old, but that's what happens when you keep chugging away. Let's see. Oh, your Avatar is your Seagull 12-string Coastline. It has a built-in tuner. Oh, nice. Oh, who? Somebody said, oh, my main guitar has a tuner and a metronome and a looper built in. Oh, that's funny. It's a guitar of the future. LAG High Vibe. Also has onboard effects like electric, but it's an acoustic. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too big. I just want a good sounding guitar. I can do effects and stuff like that in the studio. I mean, I play acoustic live sometimes at church, but again, I'm mainly going for one of the things that, and I always talked about this in my clinics. And I'm trying to think, nobody's here that went to my clinics. There was somebody, another Sam was someone I think I know from my clinics, but like there's 3 types of guitars. There's acoustic guitar, there's electric guitar, and then there's acoustic electric guitar, and an acoustic guitar with a pickup in it, right? And the first pickups were those piezo pickups like the Ovation guitars had. And then that's pretty much been the technology since then. Most guitars have pickups like that and some of them have a microphone. My Martin baritone has a microphone and a pickup in it, and you can blend between the two, and that's cool. It sounds better. You know, the microphone's always going to sound better to me than a pickup. I remember when I got my first guitar, my Gibson Dove, and had a pickup in it, but the pickup wouldn't work. It was like the top two strings weren't making good contact with the piezo pickup, and so it was like dum 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 dum. Like, wait, where did those strings go? So I couldn't use it plugged in. So I had a 414 microphone, which is a really nice condenser mic, like $1,000 condenser mic. And so I would bring it with me to play worship services with this friend of mine. It was him on piano, me on guitar and mandolin, which was great because then I could just pick up a mandolin and I didn't have to worry about pickups or anything like that. And then I had, there was a cello player on the other side of the stage. So there wasn't a drummer on stage. If there were a drummer on stage, it would be difficult to use a microphone, particularly a condenser microphone that tends to pick up everything. But so I would play for a couple of years. I did this gig with my friend Fernando, and it was Saturday night, regular Saturday night thing, and I had got so many guitar players come up to me and go, "Man, your guitar sounds great. What kind of pickup is that?" And it's like they were so used to hearing guys plug in with acoustic guitars with pickups. It's like it just sounds like this to me. You know, an acoustic guitar with a pickup just sounds like it's got a head cold. And so this microphone is a really good microphone on a really good guitar, and it just sounded amazing. And the engineer was like, "Yeah, I love this." The only issue was occasionally if I would have feedback because I'd have a microphone and a speaker, and you have to be careful about not having too much of your own level up. So, so the thing I would talk about in clinics is that you've already got an acoustic guitar that you're running through a pickup. If you start to put effects on it, if you put reverb on it and chorus on it and delay and distortion and compression and all that stuff, it's going to sound more like an electric guitar than an acoustic guitar. So you're already at a deficit. Here's what an acoustic guitar sounds like. Here's what an acoustic guitar with a pickup sounds like, okay? And so you're already at a deficit, and if you start to put effects on it, you're going to take it away from an original, what should sound like an acoustic guitar, because people, when they hear acoustic guitar, they don't naturally hear a chorus and Now, if that's your thing, that's different. There are guitar players that like to put all sorts of effects on their guitar because that's part of their sound, or they're trying to get an electric guitar kind of sound, like distortion, like I just saw distortion on here. I mean, I would never do that, although we did it. I did it actually in the studio last night, but we added distortion to the guitar, to the acoustic guitar in the box, in the studio, in the computer, as an option. The problem with putting distortion on an acoustic guitar is that once you've recorded it, it's got distortion. You can't get rid of it. So if you want to go, I decided I don't like the distortion, now you have to re-record the guitar. So anyway, that's, let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of guitars with acoustic effects in them. And they got that thing now that I see the ad for all the time. It sticks to the back of your guitar and acts as an amplifier, and you can add reverb and stuff. So, yeah, it's Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. Yeah, there you go. That's right. I always say, eat at Denny's, get bad eggs. Which isn't true, because I've had good eggs at Denny's. I don't know. I have to add, I think she forgot the sweet low. Okay, Jim, take care. Good to see you. So next week, I'm not sure what we're going to do. We may do triads next week and learn some triad shapes up and down the guitar. So that's going to be interesting because I'm going to have to create diagrams for those. And then what I can do too is create a list here of the scales. You can start to work on those on different strings if you want. That might not be a bad idea. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. What was the next one we had? G major pentatonic. Let's see. G, A, B, D, E, G major blues. So I could post this, or I'll post this to the Discord. And that would be G, A, B flat, B, D, E. You know, I don't need the G on the end here. All right, let's see. What other scales do we have? We had G mixolydian. And that was G, just G, A, B, C, D, F, E, F. There we go. We had G minor, pentatonic. Yeah, okay, and that's G, oops, B flat, C, D, F. And then we had G minor blues. And that was G, B flat, C, D flat, D, and F, right? Yeah. And I'll make this bigger. All right, and then this one, G dorian, and I think, right, that's 6, 7. Okay, so far we've done 7 scales, and I may come up with another one or two, but for now this is what we have. Okay, so G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. All right. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, so I'm going to do a screen cap of this real quick. All right. Okay, that should. So here's. Oh, I can grab it here. Save. All right. Desktop. Sorry. Get rid of that. Desktop. I'm solving a murder. This is, you're watching CSI. So here's the list of all the scales. So if you want to do something, and I'm going to upload this to the Discord. I pinned the Discord link. And hopefully I got everything right there. It looks right. I pinned the Discord link there in the chat. Let me drag this into that as well. And it's under Tom's Lessons PDFs. Cancel. Let me change the name. G scales so far. All right. So you can, if you want, now the use for this is, you know, why am I showing you this? Well, oh, thank you, Paul. You learned a lot today, really? What did you learn about the depth of Lake Winnebago? I would start with the G string and just play all the notes in the, oh, what happened to that? Did I not bring that in here? What did I do? Oh, I changed the title and it disappeared. That's hilarious. Isn't that funny? It totally disappeared because I changed the title. It couldn't find it. Okay. But thanks a lot, Paul. I appreciate that. It means a lot. So the G scales, you got, these are the scales we've used so far in the last 7 weeks. And so if you can find those note scales on the G string, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, it'll help you learn the G string, which is a hard string to learn the notes on for some reason. It's a little bit, you know, the bottom and the top string are easy because we tend to learn those. For the power chords, we tend to learn the bottom note. And if you learn the bottom, you've already learned the top. And then we also tend to learn the A string because we do power chords there. So that's a C, and that's a D, and that's an E, and that's an F, whatever. But the G string kind of gets lost in there. So the learning channel, yeah, exactly. So I can play the G major scale just by find the G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And I can play G major pentatonic, G, A, B, D, E, and then G major blues pentatonic. Right? And then the G mixolydian was start to hear the difference between like Mixolydian and major. Here's major, Mixolydian. Hear that difference? And G Dorian. Okay, and then you can do the minor. Sorry. Yeah, that was right. Minor pentatonic and a minor blues. But when you do that now, because remember the song is in the key of G. The song right here, and see I'm pointing in the right direction. Song is in G. Every other chord is a G, and more than half of the time you're playing a G chord. So even if you're playing over a D chord, and there's no G in a D chord, there is a G in a C chord. So a G note, you could play just an open G string over most of this and it would sound fine. The only time is you might want to go to the A over the D chord or something, right? So a G note's going to work. Well, that means that anything we do using the scale tones up and down the G string should work pretty good because we're constantly going back to the G. So let me pull up the jam track. So, you know, I don't have to pull off, I could just go. You can move down, but another reason to like, the G string could be a, kind of a tool you use to get you to another position in the neck. So let's say I'm playing with G, and I'm playing, and I want to be up here. So I might go. And I might use it to get me into different positions on the fretboard. So it can be kind of like, oh, I know the G major scale up here. So like you can start to use tricks like that to kind of get you around the fretboard. And I'll see guitar players do it all the time. And then, the real common thing to do is like thirds with a pull off. So like if you harmonize, okay, let's look at the G major scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And I was going to talk more about this in the future. So this was going to be on another lesson, or another week. And if I do the same scale, but starting on D note, so I'm still using the G major scale, but I'm starting on a D note. I'm not playing a D major scale. So I'm playing D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, okay? But if I do that, and I can see the thirds, like here's... The thirds will start to reveal themselves. Well, I see people use the thirds all the time to create these little pull-off licks. Right? And all I did there, well, not all I did, it's not easy, but I'm playing B I'm on the, ninth fret of the D string, and I'm playing the first finger on the second, on the 7th fret. What is it? Something like that. So I'm kind of doing a triplet. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. So I'm going that note, the 7th fret, 9th fret, 7th fret, and pull off. And then go down to the 8th and 6th fret, pull off. 7th, 5th, pull off. And then this is one that's different. I'm going to 5 and 4. So, but with pull offs in between. So, all right. Yep. Thanks, Bruce. And let's see. If you play a pentatonic scale, every note within the inside of that scale, in between notes, can be added chromatic notes. Sure, you could sell that. I certainly like the G, like the G minor pentatonic. You get that F, it ends in the F. You go F, F sharp, G, ba da 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 da. And horn sections do that all the time over kind of a blues or minor thing. But you could just about, and oh yeah, and like a lot of times if I'm going from G to F, G to F, like here, like on the G, this would be true for the G minor pentatonic, like the D and F is a minor third. I mean, I think of, it's basically played over the blues, B flat blues, but I think of, there's a couple songs. What is that? I want to say blue bossa, but it's not blue bossa. No, not blue bossa. It sounds like Cruella de Vil, though, doesn't it? But then Blue Monk was, or was that Blue Monk? Maybe that's Blue Monk. What do I do when my 9th fret plays a flat note? Does that mean it's out of... Oh, on the E string? I'm not sure, but the 9th fret on the E string should be a C sharp or a D flat, so it should be a flat. Oh, if you're going by the markers don't mean anything. Don't think that guitar markers mean anything. You know, they put, like, see, I got a marker here on the on the edge of the neck. I've got 3, 5, 7, 9. That's just to help you find your way around the neck. It doesn't mean, because that's a G, that's an A, that's a B. This is not a C. This is C. So it's supposed to be D flat or C sharp. So yeah, it's nothing wrong with your guitar if that's the case. So the markers are just arbitrary to help you find your way around a neck, but they don't imply anything. They don't really help you see anything, if that helps. I think that's the question you're asking. So let's see. All right. You guys are chatting so much I can't keep up on it. Oh, Hook's taking off. See you, Hook. See you Tuesday. Yeah, Monday's lessons moved to Tuesday because I'm working on Tom and Jerry. Jerry Lewis. I'm working on that cartoon Tom and Jerry on Monday, so it's on HBO Max, I believe. Yes, Blue Monk. Da 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 da, da 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 da. Yeah, dun dun dun. Yeah, because the thing that I'm adding there for Blue Monk, that's what Monk would do. Thelonious Monk would do. That's what he would do. That's how most people play it, but he actually went. And Becker, it only highlights your. There's a lot of chromatics. There's a lot of chromatics in that. And that's in B flat, so we've not done anything in B flat before, but yeah, you can get away with a lot of chromatics in the blues scale, and we have justified literally every single note here in the 7 weeks we've been doing this. There's 7 notes right there, and then we added. We didn't add any notes here. Well, no, when we did the minor, no, we didn't add any notes. So if you add the G major pentatonic plus the C major pentatonic and a D major pentatonic, you add all those notes together, you just end up with the G major scale. Okay. Take care, Roger. Get to work. And then we add the blues notes. So then we had B flat, we had an E flat, so there's that E flat, and then we had an F. So now we've added 3 more notes. We had 7, now we have 10. We're almost all the way to 12. And so there's we had an F natural there. The G, we didn't, okay, the Mixolydian, we already had the F, let's see. So now we have the B flat here? We did have the B flat. Oh wait, so we added 3 notes here to the major. So, yeah, that's 10, what did I say? 10. The only one oh wait a minute, did we do? Yeah, there's the A flat, so there's another one. There's a D flat, so yeah, that's 12, all 12. So yeah, you eventually got to have literally all 12 tones that we can justify musically somehow in a very, very simple 1-4-5 progression in bluegrass, or kind of a country progression. Yeah, all those tunes are in B flat. Yeah, because you know why? Because B flat is the key of C for trumpet players. So we had to play in B flat so they could play in C, and alto sax too. Alto and trumpet, is it alto, trumpet, and baritone sax all play? They're all B flat instruments. So if they're playing in C, it's B flat for us. I gotta add something to that coffee. Tell Tom and Jerry said hi. Yes, I'll get an autograph. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun playing on cartoons. It's a lot of this episode has a lot of surf guitar in it. So they sent me the sound, what the sounds I'll need, so I know what to bring to the session. But anyway, yeah, it'll be fun. I like doing those kind of sessions, and the producer or the composer always takes me to In-N-Out Burger for lunch, so I'm down with that. Oh, at musical games, I don't know. He disappeared, so maybe. But it's funny because it just occurred to me that sometimes people think, and I've had people think that, they're saying, why is this not C? And if he has a tuner and he plays that, he goes, wait, it's C sharp. Something's wrong with my guitar. No, nothing wrong with your guitar. This is G, this is A, this is B, this is C. B to C is a half step. But they think, you think, oh, well, that's going to be C because these are. So that may be. I may have been reading too much into his comment. Maybe he's got a busted guitar, but I just my brain kind of went there. So let's see. So yeah, so Monday I think we're going to start doing triad shapes. I think that'll be a good thing to do. And then the picking of them is going to be the challenge. Okay, so that's where we're really going to work on that. I'll probably work on both we'll do the shoot, what's it? I couldn't think of it the other day, and I don't know if we ever got it, but the shorthand picking, so to speak, and then the pure alternating picking. There's 2 ways you can pick those triads if you're just going to triad. Now, like I said, I love playing triads on mandolin because it's like playing a pentatonic scale. It's 2 notes per string. Super easy. Triads on guitar are not easy, and so you can strum them. They're easy to play, but they're not easy to play melodically. Okay. So anyway, so we're going to talk about that. B flat is, yeah, the alto and tenor sax. I'm sorry, alto and baritone are B flat, and then tenor and soprano are B flat, and alto and baritone are E flat. So when they play C, it's E flat for us, which is even more flats for us. So that's why if we do a song in E, they hate it because that's like, well, if we do a song if you're doing a song in A, that means they're playing in the key of, what would that be for them? Yeah, they don't like it. Let's put it that way. F sharp. So A is F sharp for them. So they're just like, oh, really? Why are we doing a song in A? But that's just what it is. Yeah, alto is E flat. Yeah, yep. And so is baritone. Right? Alto and baritone, and then soprano and tenor are B flat instruments. Trombone is C, but it's bass clef. They read bass clef, but trombone is C. I don't think trombone is a B flat instrument. Yeah, I've had to do it. I've written a lot of horn charts in my time. I used to produce a show. I was a co-producer, co-director, and music director for a show I did every year at church with a horn section and everything. And we would do as many as 40 songs in the show and pretty much, if there weren't horns in the song, I would kind of, well, not necessarily, I wouldn't add them. If we did something like Journey or something, Keep on Believing or something, and I won't add horns to that, but they were there when they were needed. So clarinet is E flat too. I think that's right. Yeah, and flute is C. Flute and piccolo are both C instruments, but I think you're right. Clarinet is that would well, or is clarinet B flat? Because clarinet and I think a clarinet and soprano being very similar, but yeah, clarinet's B flat. Thanks, Aslan. Oh, that's right, Aslan. Somebody plays clarinet. Don't get too carried away with the squirrels dance. Exactly. No, don't worry. All right, so I'm going to sign off. I uploaded that G scale list there. If you want to start working on the G string, find all those notes on your G string up and down, and try to do some things you can do. Like I said, I was going to do a lesson on this, but you can go ahead and do it on your own. You can go try to get the scale like that, and then alternate between the open string and the fretted. It's kind of fun. Then you could do two notes. You go down, or you could do shoot, what was the other one? I just thought of it. I'm pulling off and hitting the string, open string twice. So triplet, one triplet, two triplet. Oops. You could do alternating. You'll learn that. You'll learn the notes on the G string really quick with that. And that could be huge because that could really open up the fretboard. And you could try to find those same notes, those exact notes on the D string. So it wouldn't be D scales. It would still be the G scales, but you could go to the D. Because the D note works, the open D string works fine over the G chord because there's a G and a D chord. I mean, there's a D and a G chord. There's a D and a D chord. We know that because it's called D. And then the D is the second of C and totally sounds fine. So that also works. Oh, okay, you play E flat clarinet. That's pretty rare, yeah. Yeah, in fact, yeah, I think it even said, if you look, if you could go and look at scores, like Google John Williams Star Wars score PDF, and you can see those. It's pretty amazing to look at all the all the instruments there. You might be able to even download it and follow along with the opening theme for Star Wars. It's so fun to do. I do that every now and then just to go, oh, I am so unknowledgeable. I could never have done this. But anyway, so I'm going to sign off, and then we'll, I don't know, how did we do? I didn't even look. We got to 40, we peaked at like 48 early, like around an hour in, and then it just went kind of down from there. Probably because I got off on lakes and stuff like that. So, but we will pick up on Tuesday again, just to reiterate, and then we'll probably do some triad stuff. So we're going to work on some picking exercises, and maybe learn some seventh chords, just to have a little fun with it. Might have to get the pinky involved, Holly. So warm up your pinky, dip it in coffee or whatever you have to do before Tuesday's lesson. Okay? Yeah, you guys all have a great weekend. Stay safe. I've got some work to do. I'm not sure if we'll have a song next week, but maybe we will. But Holly, help me remember the name, right? Oh, if I do the G string thing, yeah, we could do. I could try to write a song using just the G string. That would be interesting. I don't know tab wise if it's going to be a pain to tab that out. I'm not sure how. Well, I think tab will let me do the finale will let me drag the numbers and they'll automatically appear. So we'll see. Anyway, I'll talk to you. We'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Yay! Have fun. Bye bye.